Hello everyone, welcome to a double feature of Z2R. We got two Swiss round 5 races. We got Patrick and jkoper on the left side, and then TheGobOne and Tyvarius on the right side. Commentary will be provided by Alsoa and Mirai. Take it from where you two.
Yes, welcome in everyone to this essentially a 4-way race here. They're all going to be running the same seed, our 3-in-1 matchup. Big Pickett and jkoper, our 1-in-3 matchup. Gob and Tyvarius. Alsoa joining me in the booth tonight. How are we doing, man?
I am ready to check some elevators.
Yeah, this is a 4-way race. This is gonna be. We're hoping we can do a good job here tonight. It's always a bit of a stressful environment trying to keep track of 4 runners. Again, they are running the same seed, so we'll see familiar environments and plays across all 4 of them. But yeah, we're hoping for the best.
You know, as weird as it sounds, I'm actually secretly hoping that our 1-in-3 matchup, both of those runners finish before the 3-in-1, just for the kind of scratch your head factor.
That would be interesting. Tyvarius, I think Tyvarius could do that. Gob is a fairly newer runner. I think you're probably more familiar with Gob from the Z1R side of things, but he's jumped into Z2R. He's played probably about 30 seeds now in the last few weeks. He's also been practicing some all keys for the vanilla tournament that's starting essentially right now. And folks, we'll see though. I don't want to. I mean, we might be commentator cursing him before the race even begins here.
Look, we all know that the fact that it's the 2 of us here means the club is going to be in P5. And naturally, that will be boots blocked.
Man, you know, I don't know. Sometimes you want a trolley seed. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Again, I don't want to beat up Ty and Gob too much, but I would like to see jkoper and Pickett get beat up. But we're all playing the same seed, so if one pair is going to get beat up, I think they're all going to get beat up.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I'm known in the Z1 side for wanting the 5-item chain reaction, so let's just have that here. I'm thinking about how you could do that. I guess if you had trophy for jump required to get through jump caves to get access to your boots. That gets you access to your hammer. Hammer is for the medicine, which gets you thunder. There we go.
I mean, you could even throw in some palace digs in there somewhere along the way as well. We've got potential 3-eyed rock that's going to appear on the east, potential forest tile that could be hiding our town, or really anything in the Swiss flags that could be anything underneath either one of those if we see them. So flute, hammer, I mean, you might as well toss those in there as well somewhere along the chain.
Ooh, 3-eye rock for sunken cave.
There you go.
And naturally, bonus points if either runner decides to pick up shield. Or any of the runners, actually.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we'll see what happens on the 3-in-1 side. I know Gob really, really likes shield in life. He's talked about that again, a newer runner. In his previous race, I think on his... Man, I forget which race that was. Either the previous one, either last week's or the week before, he was unable to get either one of those, I believe. And so he finished a seed and he did fairly well without either one of them, but I think he's going to want both. But yeah, we'll see what the other 3 pick up along the way.
Now, the interesting question. Given that the life total is randomized, if you had to pick one of life or shield, which would you take?
I always take shield. Shield is my... If I can get it without jigging out an item somewhere along the way, I'm going to grab shield every single time. I really like that much better than life. Because like you say, it could be 1 or 2 bars and it's still expensive and it's really potentially not worth the grab.
What overworld is this? Why do we have 2 towns to start?
Looks like we've got an islands here. Shield in Mito, and of course here's Raru with spell in it.
Cheap spell could be very interesting if it rolls to a high HP enemy because it follows the vanilla bot HP.
Yeah.
Looks like GobOne's going to skip shield for now. Has a little bit more interest in some of these other locations first, such as the grass tile, and potentially that's the butt Endosaria.
Yeah, well, we're not sure if it's the front or the back until we finally see it. Where it's placed doesn't give us an indication. Where it's placed in the overworld doesn't give us an indication on which side it is.
Right. Looks like it's the front end, and it's got thunder in it. Okay. Now, I believe the bot here gives you the hint for where Bagu's Woods is, should you find you need to cross Saria that way.
Yeah. Yeah, not seeing our first 3 spells, none of them are fairy, right? And well, we might still find the boots somewhere, but like you say, if we need Bagu to get across, we're going to need to find him somewhere in the woods.
Now, I do think that is the Parappa connector that they started next to you, so they will at least be able to go somewhere. If not, then that's either boots or boots.
Do we have a...
boots. Oh, wait, we have Bagu.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
Okay, that's entertaining.
Interestingly enough, your Gob's got it.
You know what? I'm going to call this a Bagu required seed, just based on that. How quickly it was accessible. This seed being Bagu required would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it could be entirely possible.
And certainly a rarity in the randomizer. Because usually there's a way around it, either through boots, through pass-through caves, or through some other combination of various amounts of walking.
Yeah, it tends to be something that isn't really...
Going to be the potential hint, and we know nothing. Okay.
Tyvarius also went through Parappa Cave, and he's over here on this landmass, and we see, what was that, P4, I believe, right down the other side of Saria there?
I think so. We find the forced encounter as Coper's dealing with Daras and Moblins. Oh my.
It does not look like triple digits from our orange Daras tonight.
No, unfortunately not. I think we have a P1 sighting on Ty's side.
Nice.
As GobOne's going to find a nice little dead end, and P5 rounds out our west.
That's a pretty quick find. All of our runners in different directions. This is quite the challenge. Oh, nothing over here on Coper's side through that bridge. Okay, so Parappa or Bagu it is.
Ooh, Ty has figured out that our spell is 100 XP red Daras.
Nice.
That can also drop keys.
Okay, so keys in the large enemy drop group out in the overworld, then that's really nice. Especially with that P1, we might see an early dig, an early gamble on that.
And we're going to find what normally is Jump Town, instead it has life. So spell and life are both item blocked. That's kind of interesting and also not great if you're wanting either of those two spells. Because those items can be just about anywhere, except JP, because there's no items in PP.
With Ty going into Rudo here and checking these hints, I wonder if we're just going to check where the trophy is at.
Boots in 1, that's important.
Wow, yeah, I think we're going to see that gamble into 1. Ty with that information, that's pretty big. Oh, Big Picket also getting that.
And GobOne's debating a dig of 1 blind.
That's a pretty big play there. He might have a key. I'm not sure if he picked up a key. He might have one in his inventory. Everyone's going to get him around the same time, so.
Or he might figure he'll just go for drops in the dungeon and hope he gets something. Maybe he'll find a just natural key.
Yeah.
I do actually like using the spell there to convert the normal HP red Dara into the 0 HP-ish red Dara.
So speaking of... he's coming out of Trophy Cave there. He's got the medicine for Mito's shield now, so...
We're hearing from chat there's also a 500 P-bag in the pool, so...
Nice.
Really good drops so far this seed. Let's see BKP go ahead and pick up that medicine. We may not see the runners go back there until they have an ability to get downstab, though, just to get both of those at once.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that means, I mean, we don't have fairy. We don't even have jump over here either. So we're gonna go to the east before we get any sort of way to get downstab at all.
Correct. And the east without downstab is it can be a lot tougher because some of the enemies over there really like to be downstabbed. Looks like we have dolls in the pool too. This is
a great large enemy drop pool out here.
Also, really nice damage boost by the GobOne to get past that blue iron knuckle using... Oh, but still takes a death from the rocks from the Bagos. At least I think that's what their name is.
Yeah, Life 2. This is again, Gob... Dare I say the least experienced runner out of all three of these here. He's furthest into the palace. I don't even think he's got the hint for the boots in here. So he's just really, he's like double blind in this one right here.
I'm starting to notice a couple of different leveling strats, and almost it looks like everyone's kind of just taking the levels as they go for now, getting up to that Magic 3 Life 4 point. GobOne's going to go ahead and lead level 1.
Yeah, I didn't see what he saw, but it looked a little linear.
Could have been key blocks. Could also just be he wants some more levels to go through there, just given the level of difficulty of the combat he'd seen already.
Yeah. I think Ty is the only one who's been employing those spell strats so far. I think we're seeing the rest of our runners kind of just fight these Dyers as they come and everything else along with them.
Yeah. Although if you can set up a good, like, I don't know, 3-4 enemies on this and then spell it, that's effectively a 500 bag without needing to get the drop. Speaking of 500 bags, it looks like GobOne's gotten quite a bit of XP here. Gonna be able to pick some levels up.
So we've seen, wow, we've not seen a whole lot. We've just been kind of walking around on these islands. We saw Trophy Cave, we saw Grass Tile. Have we seen another item cave yet?
No. I'm wondering if the game is expecting the players to go into P1. But logically, I don't think key drops are considered part of the logic.
No, those are just a bonus.
So, with that in mind, there has to be some sort of key logic to get those boots available somewhere.
Okay, so jkoper has come to the south side. The island below North Palace has Jump Cave in reverse. He's going to take that. I think he's going to be the first one to show us up north here. Of course, in 2.5 more screens.
Yes, Jump Cave is the slowest of the 3 pass-through caves on the west side.
jkoper did grab the shield spell there. Wait. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He spelled that.
Yes. I believe it's Ty that... It's either Ty or the GobOne that has gotten the shield spell as BKP's in Palace 1. Also, apologies in advance, folks, if I refer to a palace as a level. And GobOne's going to go ahead and pick up Life 4 here, as will jkoper. GobOne does elect to up A right after getting the Life 4. Honestly, not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to see more of this P1. I want to see what might be stopping us here, as Ty is creating a circus of red Dyers there in these Lost Woods encounters.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay, that was a thing.
I saw that we both watched that.
I'd never seen that happen before. But this is interesting, kind of going for a little bit of an early XP grind using the spell to his advantage.
Here's our item room in 1. Patrick's going to be the first one to get the boots here.
But I don't think Patrick has a hint.
He did. He got it out. He did get it. He was the only other one, I think, who got it. But he used the key to get to this door, through the door in the previous room. If he has another key or not, I'm not sure. We don't know what bosses are dropping, but we're about to find out from this horsehead boss.
And there's still the question of how you logically going to get key access. Oh, it's a red jar.
He can't get in here. Oh, my God.
So, really, the question is, where is the magic key? Where's either the magic key or the pass-through to some other location that is not here to get the magic key?
Yeah, it seems like Coper going through Jump Cave did not get access to anything new so far, because there's Rudo. We've already seen Rudo before, so I think we're still kind of looking around. We don't have anyone off of the west just yet, I don't believe. And we're still missing several item caves. We're still missing Heart, Magic, Medicine Cave. There we go. Okay, so there's our newest cave here. Patrick's going to show us this.
I'm going to guess this has a heart container.
Yeah, we did see Gob go across Saria. There's P4 on the other side of Saria. And it seems like it's not required though, because other people were getting to that side, I believe. Because Gob.
There's other ways.
Yeah, I think Parappa Cave takes us to that section that's connected as well. This is all a little foggy from my side. There's a lot going on here.
Let's see what we have in the cave. It's the magic key.
There it is. Okay.
All right, so now boots are logically accessible, and I would not be shocked at all to see Patrick go ahead and just take Life 4 and then go straight back to P1 to get those boots.
Yeah, and I also wouldn't be surprised if we got a handful of boots blocked. Like our palaces aren't boots blocked, it seems, but I mean, we're still missing 3 more caves out there, and they could very well be boots locked.
Plus,
this is pretty big. Yeah, whatever the connector is moving forward, cave or I mean, now that palaces are in logic, we know boots are in 1. We could have a raft in one of our other palaces. Like we might be forced to dig into 4 without the reflect spell to get like a raft or something. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
or dig a 5 without a glove and hope that it's not glove blocked.
There you go.
The thing is, we do have some of the community rooms enabled. And because of that, you can have glove blocks in palaces that you normally would not see them in. Normally, you would only have glove blocks in 2, 3, and 6 if you were playing either an old version or if you don't have the cross palace shuffling and no community rooms.
Yeah, there's a specific flag to enable that as well. So if people didn't even want to play with community rooms, there's now a specific flag that'll allow blocking rooms in any palace, which again is as Elsa pointed out is enabled for this tournament here.
And honestly, most of the community rooms are kind of this nice either variations or unique ways of going through. Some of them are special.
Yeah, I mean, they can't definitely be loved by everyone, but yeah, they do definitely add a unique flavor to these rooms. After you've played vanilla so many times, it's kind of nice to see new, different rooms. Although I dare say not everyone necessarily agrees with that.
For what it's worth, from my standpoint, I would rather have the option for them, and I actually do enjoy most of them. There's just one or two that are kind of weird. Most notably, the room where you can get soft locked if you don't have fairy or glove. Yeah,
there's a few. There's been some discussion about reworking a handful of rooms that have such weirdness to them. It's really not fair to the player. It's like you really have to know that you're getting into that room, and it's not fair to people that if you don't have any way to die, there's no way to end up suiciding yourself, or you have to forcefully up an A and start the entire palace over instead of just starting the room over.
I just noticed something watching Tyvarius a little bit. There was no key block to those boots after Horsehead.
Oh, you know what? That's my mistake. I knew that in that item room. I do know that. That's right.
So you could that would have that does mean that magical key did not need to be in that P-bag cave. Although, given the locked door before it probably did.
Well, the way the randomizer checks itself, it's definitely gonna give people that key or fairy spell before any expectation for palace logic. But you're right. I mean, we could have just walked in there and just kind of broke logic and grabbed the boots beforehand. That's wild. Although
I guess the other side of it is it's similar to one of the little logic tricks in Z1 where, or not necessarily a logic trick, but something to keep in mind is if you don't have keys going into a dungeon in Z1, you might take a different path than if you had keys. Not just keeping in mind that can be unkey blocked could have just led the runners to the magic key more quickly. Also, the little Goomba there on Patrick and Ty's side is kind of dumb.
Super troll here. This is really like a Thunder situation, but they don't have a castable Thunder. It's still 101, I believe, at Magic 3.
No, but they do have a spell if they can get him on screen enough that they can turn it into a red Iron Knuckle. Orange Iron Knuckle. Which is not a threat for this jump. It's like Tyvarius took an early Life 5. So you just gotta get him on screen enough to be able to spell him. Or have that well of a time jump. That was really good from Ty.
And gets a 1-up as a result. So it took the death, but gets it back.
There's not a whole lot of times where I think runners should be excited to see a 1-up, but that one I think is a case where you would be okay with it.
Yeah, and Horsehead right after this one trolley enemy in that one. It's actually a Death Mountain room that's repurposed for vanilla for palaces.
I think based on Ty's levels here, we might see him take more of a level as you go approach in the seed.
I would agree.
So the difference, the real thing with power leveling versus level as you go is just a matter of how confident are you running on like Magic 2, Magic 3, and Life 3, Life 4. Because you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to have a little bit of a tougher early game to offset that with being able to just level dump as soon as I get to attack 8 or 7, depending on how expensive attack 8 is. But you have to be confident enough in your combat to be able to do it, versus if you level as you go, you get a little bit more magic levels, a little bit more life levels. Can be very useful if you have something like a fairy attached to fire, or you need to get fairy more castable for key door purposes. But it really does just depend on the player, and honestly, there isn't really a correct answer between the two. It just comes down to player comfort, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me,
No.
it's a player thing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I was going to say it really helps it makes you a more versatile player if you're able to kind of read the seed. You know, if you, like you say, if you got an expensive fairy that you want to bring down, this seems to be the only way to get through doors. And there seems to be a lot of doors. These palaces might be key door heavy, and so here you are. You know, you're sacrificing attack and life levels for more magic levels, and just to get that fairy more castable, so you can get 2 casts of it or something like that to get through palaces a little bit easier. It really helps to read the seed like that.
And especially with the fire combined with something else. If you get something like Fire Fairy or Fire Thunder, where fire gets stupid cheap, then the world's your oyster, basically.
Yeah. So I do want to come back to something that was talked about earlier. We were wrong about Saria being able to be reached from a different side. You do have to go through Saria to get to P4 if you don't have the boots. So we did see that on Gob's side earlier. He must have up and 8 out of there and then went through Parappa, which is why he was over by 1 with everyone else at that time. But Gob was the first to show us across Saria that P4. We knew that we had 1, 4, and 5 here on the west. There's still no way off of the west though, unless Ty is there now.
Nope, that's still in the west.
Yeah, that's west.
Still looking for the path, although it could be up in this little exclave up here. Oh, but there's a hammer block. Okay, that could be a bridge off. Here's a medicine cave, which the bubbles is actually not a terrible thing to get here. I think that's
jkoper versus Big Picket and Tyvarius versus Gob. But very interesting that 2 of our runners sort of have the answer here, and jkoper and Gob still kind of looking for something.
Well, Gob's about to get the Any key, which is certainly going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, this is big.
And they've gotten their levels up to a much better point. We're about to see what's in the medicine cave for Patrick. I missed what it was on Tyvarius' side.
There's a magic container.
That's not... Magic containers are the kind of thing where you may not necessarily be excited to see them, but you're never going to turn them down.
Yeah, I do like, yeah, exactly. I like a magic container. If we're going to get a glove, obviously magic key, these are big items. Boots, really useful here on our islands west. But like you say, magic containers, a really good thing to pick up. We could have a progression lock in New Kasuto or something, but other than that, I mean, you know, we were just talking about leveling magic levels and things like that, where magic containers, if you've got a lot of them, you can not have to focus on magic levels quite as much.
Speaking of New Kasuto, we might have that on Ty's side as he's the first runner to the east, but it's Old Kasuto with Fairy in it. That's useful.
We do see a 3-eyed rock as well.
I could honestly see Ty here picking up Fairy here in this town, immediately up A and going and getting down stab and coming back.
That's true. Because it's not that tough to get back here, right? I think he's got the medicine. Our trackers on the 4-way are a little hidden here, so it's hard to see at a quick glance if he's got the medicine.
He does have the medicine.
Okay.
At least according to his personal tracker.
Oh, that's right. Some of these are available on our runners as well.
And he's also got a water tile, which has a candle bag.
Oh, that's where Jump Cave went. Big Picket showing us the other side of Jump. That's why jkoper didn't get much of an answer there. Oh, 2 boulder blocked cave and a raft tile up here in the corner. Wow. Okay, that could be Maze Access or Death Mountain.
I think Maze would be the more interesting of the 2, actually.
I agree. Unless we've got something stuck on Death Mountain today, like a child reflect or something.
Yeah, but Death Mountain has the problem of it's Death Mountain. Nobody wants to go do it. The Maze, the runners will be a little bit more willing to do because you just walk and get 2 items, hopefully.
Okay, tracker reporting that the DM is off of the east, so hoping for Raft Maze then.
I think Ty has made a note. Also, Jump in Kasuto.
Nice.
I think Ty has made a note of where that sunken cave is, but probably won't go back there for a little bit given the low lives count. 7 magic containers for the New Kasuto item.
Wow, okay. Update on Gob. He's about to get his boots, and jkoper about a minute ago finally picked up the magic key. We got face cams on jkoper and Tyvarius, seeing jkoper's reaction there. Probably a little unhappy that he found the magic key so late sitting there in Pillar P-Bag Cave there in the west here. But he's in the palaces. He'll get his boots soon enough. But now he's going to see there's no key door in that room, and I that's going to... the reaction.
Yeah, but the item rooms are with the community rooms. The item rooms just kind of feel like they're all over the place, so it's reasonable to assume that there's a key block there. And well, there was a kid hidden in the spell tower in New Casino. I have multiple questions.
Yeah, kidnapped and thrown into the storage shed in the back.
And Koper gets a key on the knuckle right before the room. Not the best item that you want to see there. Although he is doing some spell farming strats.
Yeah, I think he knows the item room's here. He needs 970. He needs 111 to get that next level.
Yep. Appears we have a hammer sighting. Not quite sure who picked that up. Probably Patrick. As Mountain Town has been found for Ty. GobOne's about to come across the Gooma of Doom.
Yeah, this is going to open up our 2 item caves here on the west that remain. Our magic container cave is Patrick's in it, and what's left? Heart container cave is going to be over there on the east side of our biome.
And it sounds like Ty was the one that saw the hammer in Sunken Cave. GobOne is trying to get past Gooma of Doom. jkoper's making his way over there. Heart container out of Magic Cave for Patrick.
Oh, Gob almost making it there. I think that's a game over. Yeah. Now this feels bad, but obviously, there's ways through this. Of course, it's going to be either being able to thunder that guy, you make the jump timed well, or he's got the boots now, so you could just go east, get ferry out of Old Kusuto, and then just ferry through this room.
We have a fire spell found. jkoper will get Magic 5, Heart Container, and Heart Container Cave. That rounds out, I believe, all of our item caves on the east. Or the west, rather. Sorry, I can't direct.
Yeah, it was Heart in our last 2 boulder block caves, so he's up to 6 now.
But no connectors behind them is probably the more important piece.
Do we see any palaces on the east just yet?
I have not seen any other than seeing the Valley of Death entrance, but not quite sure how willing the runners are to go to Valley of Death with their current equipment.
Looking like fire's either going to be reflect or shield. Oh, a game over in the overworld for Ty there.
Yeah, I didn't see any. Oh, wait, no. I thought I saw a flash like it was thunder, but that probably would have killed something quicker.
Well, here's the thing: where the spell is in the spell book determines whether it flashes or not. It seems that in the vanilla game, the flash is actually tied to the position of the spell and not the spell itself. So if you have the life spell in the thunder spot in the rando, every time you cast life, it'll flash on screen like you're casting thunder.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it does it for what spells is that? That's going to be spell, thunder, and I guess that's
thunder,
it.
Reflect,
maybe, yeah.
That flash for sure.
Okay.
Let's see. It's like Tyvarius is headed back to the east. Patrick is headed to get the downstab. GobOne is fighting a horse head, getting past Gooma of Doom. And Koper's about to approach Gooma of Doom.
Yeah, Koper game overed in here earlier. He does have a castable Thunder, though, right there in his spellbook. He's 64 on his end, so he could just make the jump, cast Thunder, and for anyone who's not familiar, casting Thunder clears the screen of projectiles, so it's just going to allow him to just make the jump on the platform. He can just clear it as he jumps. He's trying to get the spell cast, though.
Alright, he switched to Thunder. So we might see a Thunder cast here. Patrick will go ahead and pick up his shield spell. GobOne doing some more overworld exploration on the west. I think our runners would really like to see a Maze Island entrance right now.
Yeah, we don't have a hint for the gloves, so it is just literally anywhere that we have remaining at this point. We have Palace Logic, And a raft could be in there somewhere. It could be in DM. There could also be another way to. Here's Risen. There could be another way to the maze as well. Since we have bridge from west to east, we have cave from east to DM. We're still missing another cave and a raft. So that other cave could actually lead us to the maze, but it could be buried in somewhere like Death Mountain.
Right. Which, if your choices are go dig out a raft or go dig out Death Mountain for a cave, well, at that point, you might as well just roll a new seed. Risen Cave only has a magic container, but that is new Casino item access.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to head back there immediately. I don't know how far we are away from there. Ty picked up his hammer. He might be headed back to the west to clear out those caves soon enough, the magic container and heart container caves.
And at least one of them was really close to the entrance to the east, so it's not actually it's not a bad play, honestly, at all. Looked like Risen Cave was somewhere near Casuto. Here it is.
Yeah, this dry canyon on the east here. Oh, well, okay, there's our cave to the maze. Free connections today.
Looks like we've also found Firetown, and, well, Firetown's now going to be Reflect Town. That was a little anticlimactic. And also, there was a palace sighting.
Oh, it's about time.
I do wonder if we're going to see Patrick dig that palace in the immediacy. Both Koper and GobOne now picking up their magic containers at a medicine cave. Koper actually on the way out.
Yeah, between East and Maze Island, we've got 2, 3, 6, and GP spread between them, so we'll have to see what we have available and where.
If you're a runner, you're really hoping that GP is on Valley of Death so that you don't have to do it.
Ty gonna be the first to explore the maze here.
It's one of 3, 6. The way you can tell between 3 and 6 is the windows in the palace. As Koper's found his way to the east, GobOne not too far behind.
Patrick not getting any hints out of Nibiru here.
You know, it's kind of interesting how both races are in relatively similar states.
Yeah. The early West was a little bit of a troll for seemingly everybody involved. jkoper a little late to find the key, but I mean, not out of it by any means. There's still plenty of mystery to uncover here as we're eventually going to go into palaces here. 30 minutes in, we've only got P1 gems placed, and still plenty of labyrinths to dig through.
I think we just saw the raft tile on Maze Island, which means DM is a one-way entry only.
Okay.
That could have implications if Glove is in there.
Yeah, what was in this first drop here? Patrick, I guess, is going to show. Okay, just a red jar, nothing notable.
Yeah. Second drop could be a little more exciting. There it is. It's a cross.
We did see Invisible Moas in the east, probably a little helpful. Ty did take a game over in the encounter with an Invisible Mower, so had he had the cross, I'm sure he would have been able to dodge them a little bit better. I think Gob's coming back to these boulder-blocked caves here. He's going to be getting 2 more hearts.
Probably won't be too upset to see that, actually, given that there really haven't been any hearts up to this point.
Yeah, Ty has not picked those up either, so he's still operating on just 4 hearts there.
Nice upstab to kill the Mew.
All right, Patrick's second item for him. Have we seen the desert tile?
No.
That could be... Yeah, that could be under Three-Eyed Rock then.
We're missing that, and we have not had either runner with 7 magic containers go back to New Casino yet to get that item.
Very true, very true. Yeah, so maybe we have a desert tile glove that is behind a flute block. I mean, one can hope.
Ty is going to go ahead and dig Palace 2 a little bit. Somewhat scary gloveless because it does tend to, if vanilla is any indication, it's going to be glove blocked. But honestly, not a terrible choice here, given that there's not much left to get out of the east.
Patrick about to show us 3 or 6 here with these windows. It is 3. Okay. That's on Maze Island.
Of the two, you probably want to dig 3 first just because it's smaller.
Yeah. And we don't have any, I don't think we saw any hints for any palaces. Anyone in the audience who maybe caught that can let us know, but I didn't catch any for any of our other than Horsehead with the boots, right? But we didn't see anything beyond that.
I have not seen anything myself as of yet.
Patrick in the item room, though, so we're about to see what's in 3.
And it looks like all of our runners actually have elected to just take the level as you go strats, given the way the seed has been. It's a heart container in 3.
All right, well, 7 hearts, 7 containers for Patrick here. And there's our 8th container on Ty's side there in 2. Okay.
This might spur Ty to go ahead and just pick up the new Casito item. But finding a lot of hearts, a lot of magic, not a whole lot of gloves. You might need to go to Walmart.
Is that Palace 5? Is Gooma the Walmart greeter?
Okay, that was not canon before this point, but I would like that to be canon. Palace 5 is Walmart and Gooma's the greeter. And here's the boss at 2. No glove block.
Yeah, that's a quick P2.
And a low HP horsehead helmet head to boot.
Yeah, Helmet Head seems to be more often than not quite sickly. I think there's something to potentially be just... I don't know. He really seems to roll low the vast majority of the time. There has been some talk about maybe his helmets cause some health issues. I don't know. We have no idea. It's not really a high priority, but I'm sure at some point we'll check it out.
Well, okay. The helmet head does have a blue sprite, and lead generally has a blue tint to it, so it's probably just lead armor.
there you go. Desert Tile is in the open, though. Ty showing us the trophy on the Desert Tile. So nothing, unless there's another palace. There could be a palace behind that 3-eyed rock. I don't know if we've seen a second palace in the open. There's 2, but we're still missing 6 in GP here. One of them's in Death Valley. One of them is somewhere else in the east, possibly underneath 3-eyed rock.
And for what it's worth, we have not seen a second palace on the east yet. Looks like Ty's going to go ahead and head over to 3, joining... Patrick. jkoper has elected to make the Death Mountain play, at least a little bit.
I
Perhaps
mean,
looking for the rock.
Yeah, he probably feels maybe a little behind because the 20 minute some change pickup on the magic key, and I don't think I'm trying to see if jkoper's been... Yeah, he's been east. Yeah. He's got the rocks. He's got the hammer. So, yeah, he's been east a little bit. And so, yeah, maybe he feels a little bit behind. Maybe he's going to make a little bit of a curveball play here and just check Death Mountain because maybe you figured no one else will. At least not right now.
And Death Mountain does seem to be pretty open so far. That will be the first heart container for Ty in the seed. If he elects to go back for the 2 hammer block caves, he can pick up 2 more. No guarantee that he's going to do that at this point. Nice Thunder cast for Gob, just not quite enough to kill the Boa.
I will say this P3 seems to be a bit of a troll as Patrick is still looking around for the boss. P2 being a lot faster than P3 today, it seems, as long as you just walk the right way.
Just go the right directions and every palace is fast. Problem solved.
If only we got a map before starting each seed.
I mean, Zelda 1 has maps.
This is true.
It also has the book maps option where you just pick up a book and get all the maps, but also your wand shoots fire.
Yeah, I don't know what the equivalent of, because that's kind of seen as a negative thing for a lot of runners, I think, in Z1R. So I wonder what the equivalent would be in Z2R.
The equivalent would be your fire spell gives enemies iframes but doesn't damage them.
Or maybe you never have beams at that point. No beams ever, even at full health.
Ooh, that could be fun. jkoper finds the rock. The rock contains a raft.
Well, I don't know if he's been to the maze yet, right? So if he hasn't been to the maze, then this will get him quicker access there, but it's not a revolutionary find here.
No, and I don't recall seeing jkoper pick up a hammer cave in there. Boss for Patrick. Gonna do the Rebo jump, as it's potentially known.
Rebo being a little stubborn, kicks him out and takes him down.
Yep. You're rewarded with magic.
Yeah, that's going to be Magic 5. So 4, 5, 5 on Patrick's side, 4, 5, 6 already on Ty's side. Still going to place the gem. Although Ty has P2 down, whereas Patrick doesn't just yet.
Actually, it's the TheGobOne that's going to not only get the flute first out of New Casino, but is also going to be our first runner to attack 5, which is generally kind of the break point for what you want for T-Bird.
Yeah, that's a good place to be. Sometimes attack 4 can roll high and feel as good as something like 5, but usually 5, like you say, is a good spot to be for Thunderbird.
I say get to 6 and do the wibble wobble. Now, what'll be interesting is if that second palace is blocked here, while it won't take long necessarily for Patrick and Ty to get back there, that will be a small informational advantage that the TheGobOne will have for the moment, if it is a palace.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just... you finish up.
Oh, just mentioning that we're seeing a lot of fairy fleet on jkoper's side just to avoid some of the encounters.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I don't think we've seen another palace yet, so I'm really hoping to see what's under this 3-eyed rock, and I don't think we're too far away from it here from New Casino side. Although there's a hand... Did we see what was under the forest tile there on Patrick's side? We probably checked that already.
Patrick has everything marked except for this New Casino item, so if it's not a palace, there's nothing there that he's really interested in. And now he gets a fleet, so that's all of the items on the east known. Or not Patrick, Ty. So Ty's just looking for the palace at this point. As Coper will now find 3 on the maze and is electing to go ahead and dig. Not a whole lot of glove needed so far.
Yeah, Gob did just show us what's under the forest tile, and it is just one of the Darunia encounters. So nothing under the forest tile, and we're going to see a 3-eyed rock check here on Ty's side. I think we are. He's one encounter away here.
Let's see. It's a palace.
Wow.
It's GP.
Okay, so we know that, Ty is done here, essentially. He's just going to go into Death Valley, I assume, finish up what we know is 6 now, and then just head back west and just finish all that up and come back east and be done with the game easy peasy. Hopefully the glove is somewhere along the way here.
I'd like to note that with our current knowledge, either the glove is in one of these palaces or it's going to be in Hammer Cave.
Yeah, we're essentially out of... we don't have a lot of locations left at this point.
And if you want to troll the runners, you want it to be in Hammer Cave. If you want the runners to have a nice, wonderful stroll through the rest of the siege, you want it to be right here in P6.
Yeah, and not that jkoper can't catch up. Again, there's still plenty of palaces for people to get lost in, but... seeing as he was already in Death Mountain looking for the rock, like had he found Hammer Cave, I wonder if he would have checked it. And if that were the glove, that would have been a great kind of swing of things for him to have that ahead of time, because then once you've got the glove, everything else you've got, you're not digging palaces for items beyond that point unless you're hoping for some containers.
And honestly, the TheGobOne isn't that far behind Tyvarius here, probably just behind a couple of, maybe like a crystal or two, just from having not done P2 or 3 yet. But a couple of crystals is not an insurmountable deficit. He's got the fairy spell, so he probably either has or knows where to get jump stab. Jump stab, down stab.
He's also getting his knowledge of the GP under 3-eyed rock. Yeah, Patrick lucky enough to not have to double dip even just a little bit here into New Casino. He hadn't seen it up to this point. He did grab everything here, although I don't think we need the child today.
The child blocks the fire spell, which blocks... It's linked to something?
That's true. We don't really know. We don't have that check just yet.
Now, if it's fire life, well, that's convenient because then you don't have to go back to Rudo.
Yeah, the thing about the fire spell is that there are some spells that will link to it in both directions. So if you have the spell, you have shield, you have jump or something, you'll see the fire cast come out of your sword. But if it's life, thunder, reflect works this way as well, but life and thunder and fairy, obviously those are 3 spells that won't give you that information in reverse. For whatever reason, life and thunder don't seem to do a fire cast. And So if it does happen to be something like that, then maybe someone could profit off of, like you had mentioned much earlier on, a Fire Thunder.
We have a rebuild kill for jkoper. And up A, back to the west for GobOne, who is on 556. jkoper about to join him there, as actually really the only runner that we have that isn't 556 is Patrick right now.
Yeah, and as much as we maybe talked about jkoper being a little behind, he's obviously evened it up here. He's going to just walk back out the 2, I imagine. We know that 2 is very... Oh, maybe he's going to go to Nukasuta real quick, check to get his flute. Okay, well, all of that is on his mind, I'm sure, at some point. But he's going to do 2. We know 2 is fast, so he's right there, right next to Patrick, for the most part.
Right. And he has seen Nukasuta because he has the jump spell out of there. GobOne is now in Mido, grabbing the down stab. Oh, not Mido. That is, what town is this? This is Spelltown. Nope, that's Nibiru. I don't know my towns. I'm sorry, folks.
I'm trying to figure out what Palace Ty is in here. Is this our...
This is 6.
Is this 6? Oh, this is 6. Yeah, okay. That's right. Ty pioneering the palaces here.
So, here's the real question. Does Link just hold the water in his hands when he gives it to the lady? Like, cupping the water in his hands really quickly, running back, hoping he doesn't spill too much.
It's likely that's how that exchange works.
I know I've seen the theory that you use the empty medicine bottle to give the lady water, but in Rando, you don't always have that, so...
Right. Just mix the 2 together. Here's some red liquid.
Look, it's cherry Kool-Aid. Just trust me.
I mean, the thing that's maybe a little bit more disgusting is just simply outside fountain water. Who knows what's in there?
Look, I'm pretty sure that back in ye old times, your options were either the water or the whiskey.
This is true. All right, I missed the item there. Ty's going back down for it, though. This must be another heart? Okay.
Yes. So that's all of our heart and magic containers found. Patrick has elected to skip the magic container here in 2.
Oh, if that's the case, I think Helmet Head is that direction. So we saw Ty pick that up, and he saw Helmet Head very shortly afterward. So
yes.
If the rest of 2 is in the other direction, Patrick might be in here for a little bit. Koper in here with them, though. So Koper's about to see this if he goes up the elevator, and he might just go in that direction and be done with 2 first, and first to 3 gems on their 1v1.
So this race is heating up a little bit.
Oh, we got Gob in Death Mountain now. Okay, so we might actually see a Hammer Cave find.
If there's a Hammer Cave find here for Gob and it has a glove, that just comes down to, is there a glove block? Well, also consider that GP has, a stupidly high chance to be glove blocked because there's just glove blocks everywhere.
Yeah, I can't imagine that people are going to go into... Like, in Standard, it's pretty tough to skip the glove. I mean, it's possible to do that, but like you say, there's so many glove block rooms in GP that's essentially required. More in a max rando setting is where you're going to see people with like a low gem requirement to get into GP. You might see a few glove gambles at that point, but sometimes they work out. Most of the time they don't. But yeah, in Standard, I think our runners are probably going to 100% a seed before going into a GP.
It's like gambling on ladderless in Zelda 1. I know, by the way, Koper does find Helmet Head first.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Koper has switched up leads here.
At this point, I think if you're walking all this way, you might as well go pick up the magic container.
Yeah, I think it simply came down to that. He's got 7. It's like the 8th. Oh, he's going to still skip it. Okay.
Interesting. Also going to skip the ferry, but that's a little more understandable. If you're assuming Helmet Head's nearby, you probably are thinking, okay, I probably don't need the life, especially if you have more than 1 life on hand.
Yeah, it takes him out.
GobOne is back on the west, maybe electing to finish off the western palaces. Oh,
did we not see? We still have not seen Hammer Cave. So from our perspective, I mean, we've got, what have we got? We got Hammer Cave and P4 and P5.
Oh, Gob had not seen the reptile yet.
Ah.
And the spiders are made of steel, which is always annoying. I like when the spiders are not made of steel because usually they're pretty easy to kill if they're not.
And even early on, they can be worth up to 100 experience. So if you find them on something like Maze Island early on, they're not that bad of a kill.
Koper is headed back to, presumably making his way back to New Casino with the 7th magic container. Might also dip into Death Valley first.
Yeah, Koper's got to get that flute still to do that check. Unless he's going to go in blind to Death Valley. I don't think so, though.
Nah, there's not a good reason to. Checking the hammer spot first, just to, because it's reasonably close by. Koper has not picked up fire or upstab yet, so he's going to go ahead and get those.
Patrick heading into Death Valley here, going to be joining Ty in 6. Ty's been in 6 for a little while. This 6 looks like it's a complete troll. He's done, I think, 2 up and A's at this point to start over, and he's on some random path headed left. So I have no idea where this dragon's at, but we already saw the item fairly early on. It's just that heart, but this dragon is hiding.
Well, here it is.
Perfect. I
feel
feel
it into existence.
Yeah, right. I feel like that was if that wasn't a full clear, it was almost a full clear. I think he's been in there for probably 6-7 minutes, I'd say. Yeah, so this is time that this is where Patrick and Koper might one of these palaces like this, they might switch places again. It all depends on if someone wants to gamble on a left somewhere, it looked like.
Yep. We don't see any little mini jackhammers from Ty, but on attack 5, jackhammering Barba's a little bit iffy. As Patrick's about to just get a natural level without a gem.
Did he happen to let it ride out of 2?
He might have.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I completely. I mean, there's so much going on that when someone gets to the gem pedestal, I just tune into another channel for a moment because I just figured they're going to take the gem and then up an A. But that's not always the case. So he could have just taken the gem, skipped the level, and gets it here maybe.
Looks like it's Fire Reflect.
Oh, okay.
Cheap Reflect is generally good, and Ty has headed to Walmart with GobOne in 3, Koper finishing up. New Casino now has that flute. Presumably. I don't see why you would skip the lady when you have 8 containers. Patrick in 6.
Yeah, Koper getting jumped. Koper doing the full clear of New Casino right now. He's got his flute. He's going to be checking 3-eyed rock. He'll see that it's GP, and then I imagine he's going to be right into 6 along with Patrick here.
This looks like the dead end room in 5 on Gob's side.
Yeah, so if we don't see the glove here, it's coming down to 4 or Hammer Cave.
And then there's the and then at that point, do you just go ahead? Honestly, given that the entrance to Death Mountain is right next to GP, there's a part of me that says I would just go YOLO gamble GP on no glove, and if it's not, well, I have Death Mountain access right there.
Yeah, I mean that's it's a possibility.
It doesn't feel quite as good as the Z1 equivalent, which is gambling silvers and 9, just because, well, you have to go back all the way through the GP portions that you did, and if you get glove blocked right at the end, it feels really bad.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a question of just how much are you willing to make that gamble versus saying, okay, I'm just going to go dig out my Hammer Cave, get my glove, and then come back, as that is not a Guma.
Yep, a trolley from a trolley P6 to a trolley P5.
Koper looks to be headed in the direction of Death Valley, so probably going to see a P6 from Koper here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Patrick's been digging around for a little while in here as well. Just saw the item room, opted to pass up on the heart, so he's going to be staying at 7 hearts, 7 magic containers, which honestly is fine, but we will see. Like, we'll see if it comes down to that, because Koper picked up all 8, so it's possible that if GP is, just the right length and just the right amount of requirement from our runners, that maybe an extra bar of magic could actually come into play.
And the problem with my analogy is being pointed out that GP does not have items, 9 does. So if you're glove blocked in GP, you know you're leaving. If you're glove blocked in 9, you're not necessarily leaving.
This is also true.
I'm trying my best here to make some analogies, folks. But we have not gotten any math out of me, which is surprising.
Is there a lot of math in Z2R? Not other than experience levels, not really. A lot of the math is kind of hidden behind the scenes when it comes to like how many hits, attack effectiveness, life effectiveness, how much damage you're taking, things of that nature. So that's all right.
And a lot of item odds are kind of complicated by the fact that there's 16 overworld items and very few things blocking those usually. Compared to Z1, there's a little bit deeper item block logic because most of your items are going to be in your dungeons. At least it feels like there's some deeper logic to it, but maybe I'm wrong. Hammer blocks certainly exist on the overworld. As we saw in this seed, flute blocks certainly exist. Pass-through caves can block things.
Yeah, it really depends on the biome as well. Just if randomized overworlds kind of change a lot of that as well. Z1 not having that.
Right, you just have the cave blocks on the overworld, which there's anywhere from 7 to 20 caves blocked, depending on how you decide to set your overworld layout up.
Wow, Ty finding another dead end here, and we're seeing it on his cam that he's like a little excited. That's probably negative excitement. It's probably, yeah. He's probably tired of finding all these dead ends and getting trolled immensely by these 2 palaces.
He might also be slightly annoyed that he's had to full clear the 2 largest palaces so far.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to look at Patrick. Patrick is still in 6, looking around. I'm not sure if he's on the right path just yet. jkoper's obviously looking around in here as well. We'll see who can find something first.
Oh, that's big. That is a big room if that leads to Goma. Or Guma. Ah!
I totally missed it. I was trying to see if I could figure out where jkoper and
It's one of these types. Oh, wait, that loops. So that room that TheGobOne just entered, he saw the elevator to get in there, but he hasn't seen what's to the right of it. Or the left of it, rather.
Oh, Ty?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That is in a different room.
Yeah, there was that up and left. It looked like it was glove blocked on Ty's side there.
Yep. God is going to finish up P3, really start to make their way back, closing this gap up a little bit. If they're able to have a faster 6 and 5 than Ty did, that's going to go a long way. And Ty's leaving 5. That might be a glove block.
Just checking with our tracker here if Ty went underneath those blocks or not. I didn't see it. I saw him see the room, but then he up and ate out of there.
So if I'm thinking of my rooms correctly, I think on the other side of those blocks is an elevator, which Ty did see the other side of.
Okay.
He just has not been able to go left in that room, and now he's going to go check his 2 hammer block caves here on the west, looking for a glove.
Yeah, see, this would feel bad if it were this easy. We know it's not this easy, so he's still going to do this and, quote, waste some time, end quote, although 2 extra hearts might come in handy.
And the opportunity cost on something like this being wrong is a lot lower than a Death Mountain. Although, we may, after this, see Ty elect to go to 4 before Death Mountain. Because at least there, if you can get to the boss, but the item's glove blocked, then you don't care about the item and you can still get the gem placed.
Yeah, I was going to say this. He's going into 4 now, and I'm thinking it's kind of interesting to dig 5 before 4 in this case, because everyone has Reflect, so you could have just done 4. It might have been the better play. I mean, now it's looking like the better play, and I probably would have just, because Karak is free, and then you just got to find the item in here. We did get a P6 gem placement from Patrick at 5612 on the ZSR race timer. I want to see if I can remember, if we can catch Koper when he places his P6 gem, to see how separated these 2 runners are on the one side, the 3-and-1 race.
We are seeing Patrick go to 4 first. Also, I'm seeing a little bit of discussion in chat about a Z1, Z2 crossover. I'm in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be in on that. Just got to figure out how to make something like that happen.
Well, Z1, M1 exists. Koper not far behind on the Barba fight. Might have found that a bit quicker than Patrick did.
Absolutely. That was probably that was pretty huge. I don't know what their separation was going into P6, but it was several minutes. And so this is going to be just about 2 minutes, I'd say, assuming Koper doesn't take a death here. Probably about 2 minutes, a little over, separating them, leaving P6. So yeah, this is big. This is big for Koper.
And GobOne's about to finish up too, so if GobOne goes to 4 first, that also will become a race within a couple of minutes, because, I mean, Ty's going to have the advantage of the 5 exploration, which could be important if GobOne decides to go looking for a glove in 5.
I would wager everything I own that Gob is going to go to 4 before 5.
All right, I'll take your house. I'm not about to make that wager, though.
Oh no! I just because Gob is not going to have shield. Or I mean, he might have shield now. I don't remember if he picked up shield, if he had the medicine and whatnot. But he's not getting the life spell, and so I imagine he's probably just going to do 5 absolutely last.
I believe Gob did pick up the shield spell while in Mito. But Gob has one slight issue.
He's a skeleton.
Gob has not been to 6 yet, I don't think.
I don't believe so either, but we just saw the item in 4. What was that? 1 up in P4. Oh my god!
It's Hammer Cave!
Oh my god, we had 2 runners in DM early. Oh, that's where you're always kicking yourself. If you're in DM early, you don't find Hammer Cave. If they found it, would they have dug it? I don't know. They didn't really look around for it. They just went for the rock. The rock had the raft. The raft was pretty useless today. Oh my god, Hammer Cave looking like it's got the glove unless someone made a mistake somewhere.
And by the way, Koper's looking for the item in 6, which honestly, without a glove...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
If you don't have a glove, I kind of get it.
Yeah, that's why his 6 was faster, it seems. I didn't even... Yep.
Now we're going to see the runaround. Honestly, Koper's best bet at this point. He likes to skip the heart. Honestly, his best bet might be to just say, okay, I'm going to go to 4 and then Yellow Gable DM.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, just the time that he's out of there now. So the time that separates them is a little over 3 minutes. So instead of just over 2 minutes, he spent about a minute unsuccessfully getting that item out of there, and so he's out, which is what we know is a good plan.
Koper's going to 5 first.
Oh no, this is a bad plan.
Unless there was a pass through room or something that Ty missed, this is glove blocked.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ty, he's done with 4. GobOne is making their way into 6. Gets a bunch of fairy feats to get through the forced encounters.
I assume Ty is headed to... Well, he hasn't seen on his tracker. He also hasn't seen Magic Container Cave, which we know is in the northwest corner, which is boulder blocked. At least on his tracker, it's not shown. And then he's got DM completely untracked as well. So he's got 3 spots in the overworld untracked.
And they're not all necessarily close to each other. In fact, we don't even know where the Hammer Cave is. But this looks like he's headed in the direction of the remaining Hammer Block Cave. Not sure if he caught that little bit of a mountain over in the top corner. It looks like he did, though. Yep, here it is.
Yeah, after all this, I'm kind of hoping that we don't get a completely free GP. I'm hoping we got some twists and turns in GP after all of this.
Look, what's going to happen is there's going to be an early T-Bird, followed by the bottom end of a drop room. And then there's going to be 2 drops late in GP, and you have to 50-50 gamble which one is going to be the correct one. By the way, gem placed for Patrick in 4. And
nice.
Gob is in 6.
Now, I think Patrick's going to go into 5, potentially waste some time here. I think we're going to see time wasted in 5 for all of our runners, other than maybe Gob. Maybe Gob will go Hammer Cave before 5, and that'll be the big play he makes.
Yeah, but you think about it. I mean, at this point, if your options are dig Hammer Cave or dig 5, you might as well dig 5, because again, you can place the gem if you can get to the boss.
Yeah. Because up to this point, we've seen no glove blocks anywhere up to this throughout this entire seed so far. So I mean, there's a good chance that 5 is still, from just general knowledge, that 5 is just open, because a lot of these rooms, they tend to get shared in the palace pools. You can't have necessarily a complete unique set of rooms between the palaces, because we're limited on Nintendo bank space and whatnot. But
Right.
yeah, so when you see a lot of those rooms, you kind of assume, well, there's no glove box just yet. You might just keep going. And so, like you say, try to get the item and kill the boss at the same time. But it seems we can do neither in 5.
So TheGobOne is going to elect to go ahead and get the heart container here in level 6. And the path to DM eluding Tyvarius a little bit.
Yeah, my guess is that he saw it very early on, and so has kind of forgotten which cave it is.
Meanwhile, Koper and Patrick both in different portions of the Palace 5. Koper electing to take a death to get back a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Koper or Big Picket are able to uncover anything that Ty maybe didn't. Because that'll obviously turn things on its head at that point. Although, again, for anyone coming in, including our Raiders here, we've got jkoper versus Big Picket. That's a 3-in-1 match, and GobOne and Tyvarius, the 1-in-3 match. All of them playing the same seed, so we're able to commentate on all of them equally here, but they are playing 2 separate, just 1v1s across the board here. Ty ultimately in the lead, though, I would say, as long as he can find DM here very quickly, he will be first to what we assume is where the glove is at, unless someone, again, has made a huge mistake. But
yes.
Yeah. Very good race here. Very good race, though.
Koper sees the glove block here. Is going to elect to up A and leave 5, saying, okay, I need to go get another item. Now, Koper is not running with a personal tracker that we can see, although I assume he has one in some form, whether it's pen and paper or otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know if Koper has upgraded to something a little bit better. He's talked about, even just earlier in the Swiss rounds, he has talked about how he needs to figure out a better way to track things, because he didn't at that time run any sort of tracker. So whether he's moved to at least writing some information down, not sure, but we'll have to see if that's the case.
And it sounds like there's some indications in chat that Patrick is running with a whiteboard, which is a perfectly wonderful tracking mechanism. And then Ty and TheGobOne both have trackers showing on their personal streams.
Yeah, Koper opting to dig into 4 here. Not a bad play. We know it's clearable. Hopefully he'll see the item soonish, and he won't find the boss first and then have to find the item. I guess it doesn't really matter what order you do it in, as long as it's done quickly.
Right.
But yeah, because then he timbled on 6. He might be thinking 6, but at this point, DM is closer. So maybe I would just go DM at that point.
Well, I think Patrick saw the item in 6, just didn't pick it up.
Yeah, Patrick did, but Koper, I think he completely.
Oh,
he did see it. Okay, so
yeah, he saw it. He just skipped it because it was a heart, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't
gotcha."
do this.
Okay,
So,
that's perfect.
It really is going to just end up being Hammer Cave for everybody.
Yeah, Ty looking for it now. Still looking around. He found the rock pretty easily. This DM biome is what's called a vanilla-like, simply because it mimics the look of vanilla, because it's got the yellow roads all over the place. No encounters to bog you down or anything like that. So yeah, pretty easy to kind of walk around and check the caves here.
Still looking around. Not a whole lot of clear cut. This could be Hammer Cave. With the new 4.2 logic, you can kind of tell if there's connector caves based on if there's a cave opposite the one you're going into.
Yeah. We could turn that flag off, but most people don't want to. Plus, it's actually a global flag that caves connect linearly. So if you were to disable that, not only is DM a mess, but all the other pass-through caves on the west and the east are also kind of an anything-goes situation.
Yeah, and you don't want to be like, oh, there's just a quick pass-through cave that leads to the other side. I'll be fine. And then you walk through it, and suddenly, why am I staring down Death Valley right now?
Yeah, right.
Hammer Cave found.
Wow.
In the bottom.
So Ty feeling a little bad about this, but we know that he is in the lead a good bit in front of everyone at this point. So if he watches this back, he's going to be like, man, I can't believe it after all of that. I mean, we're 66 minutes in, almost 67 and some change pickup for glove. Last locationing it, at least available locationing it, is we still have the item in P5 that was glove blocked. But yeah, I mean, this is big. This is pretty big. And all of our runners are looking to be doing the exact same thing today.
Patrick has just left 5 with no item and is making his way in that direction, I assume.
I thought Koper was in the item room. My bad. Yeah, Koper not in the item room just yet.
GobOne still in 6. Koper is still in 4. There is the glove.
Okay, Koper now in the item room. I don't think he fought Karak yet.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Gonna see the little Trogdor. Ty is our first runner back in 5 with a glove in hand. Really, the only thing that can be in this 5
color, it's just completely black and loses its color palette. So unless anyone was paying attention to see how much of a magic refill we get when we grab the jar from bosses, I was not paying attention myself. So it might be a blue jar after all. We still might be rewarded with after every boss kill. Oh, the candle we got for free. I'm sorry.
Right, and we saw a 500 bag earlier, so we saw the candle bag earlier, although I guess there could be 2 500 bags.
Ty through the glove block immediately here. He's showing us new information in 5 as we're walking in a hammer cave on Patrick's side. Probably jkoper going to be following in his footsteps shortly.
GobOne a little bit behind the 3 of them, just taking some... Just now getting to the boss in 6, but 6 was dumb. Let's be real. You basically had to do the whole thing. Here's an elevator. Always check your elevators.
I was going to say item and boss possibly attached to this, like up and right could have simply been the item room, and down here is the boss. With as much 5 as we had seen, there couldn't have been that much remaining beyond that glove block.
So we have a Goomba fight for Ty. We have a Barba fight for GobOne. We have a Hammer Cave fight for Patrick, and we have a level up screen for Koper. Gonna take Magic 7 here. Let's see what Ty takes on the last gem.
Okay, I'm paying attention now. It is a red jar we're getting from bosses.
Okay. Not even gonna take the level, just gonna leave.
He's burning them. He feels behind. 70 minutes here. Got to get back to the east, walk to 3-Eyed Rock, which is right near the landing point, and then into GP is going to be Ty, our first runner, to show us what additional trolls we may or may not have in that palace, in that final palace.
Oh, and just a missed jump on Barba, leading to a game over for the GobOne.
Yeah, that's rough.
I find that if you're doing Barba jumpless, you kind of want to jump right as his mouth fully opens. If you do that, that seems to be about the timing for getting the jump where you dodge all the fireballs.
Yeah, there's a few techniques. You can be extra aggressive and get in there right away, then dodge the fire, then try to get a few more stabs in before he goes down again.
What a good start.
Yes, I agree.
Just have Bird Knights.
At least shield and jump are accessible to our runners here. They're not going to be beat up too badly, but man, this first room, a little bit of a troll.
And remember, no life spell.
That's true. Although they could opt to go get it.
They could, and honestly, if I didn't have life spell coming into this GP, I would consider it. Only because, knowing me, I'm going to come out of that room about how Tyvarius is right now. Outside of the orange Bird Knights, I have absolutely no idea how you're supposed to hit the red or the blues consistently. Unless you just don't.
Yeah, for me, it's simply a just run, dodge and run.
Patrick is currently fighting Goomba, having gotten the hammer. Koper is making his way over towards Death Mountain. And GobOne is headed back to Barba.
Yeah, feels probably a little bad losing a life in the second room of GP there for Ty.
Hello, Big Bot.
I think what makes it feel extra bad is that, oh, okay, well, here's Thunderbird. So not a huge ordeal. He can opt to just up an A after this. He's got a Thundercast here. He's got a Red Jar afterwards. If he doesn't take a lot of damage, he might just keep cruising beyond this point.
A little interesting to see no Reflect used, although I guess if you're doing the Pendulum, it's a little bit easier to dodge the fireballs.
Yeah, I think a lot of people tend to, it's either like a shield or reflect thing that they'll do. If they don't have shield, reflect comes up if it's castable. I assume it's definitely castable at Magic 6, though, at this point.
Yeah, but also remember Tyvarius is having to use fire for shield, for reflect, because he doesn't actually have the regular reflect spell.
Oh, yeah, it should be super, super cheap then. Yeah. Patrick also walking in a GP here. It's just short of 73 minutes into the seed.
The TheGobOne has finished off Barba and is on the way. Hey, look, you needed a glove regardless. Who here is shocked by this revelation?
Well, we needed a glove to get through the first room, too.
Yes. But if 5 wasn't glove blocked, that would have been a nice little surprise. It's like, congratulations, you're done. Oh, you're not done. Now you have the item in 5 to contend with. Hi, Bird Knight.
Yeah, I think this is going to slow our runners down a little bit here. I think jkoper and Big Picket not going to be able to just cruise through this very, very easily. 666 for Patrick there, and I didn't see what jkoper was at, but is he at a Tech 7 yet? He might just stay around at 6. Oh, he's only at 5 still. Okay.
577 for Coper may allow for a little bit different spell usage in GP.
Yeah.
And Ty's going to keep the Bird Knight caged. Also going to cast Jump here. Oh, because you have another one of these. Ooh, but a very good jump allows Ty to skip needing to make a way for the Bird Knight to get up. And it looks like we'll see a Thunder and Fire cast here from Big Picket. I believe that's how that's pronounced.
That's how I pronounce it. Most people will say BKPKT or just Patrick. I think I'm the one who coined the Big Picket pronunciation.
Well, I'm just going to stick with Patrick then, because that's
fine.
Easy. That's a quick one to roll off the tongue. Gets Thunderbird down with no issues whatsoever. No wibble wobble strats so far tonight. And honestly, we're probably not going to see any, because as someone who does the wibble wobble, the pendulum is just better. I just have the muscle memory of the wibble wobble.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Just, whatever works for whomever, whatever the strat is on Thunderbird, there's several. Any vanilla runner would come in and probably want to be doing jump, shield, reflect, thunder strats, if they had the resources to do so. And honestly, we very, very rarely see anything like that done in the rando. It's usually just pendulum.
Yeah. But usually when you get to Thunderbird, you don't necessarily have... You might not necessarily have jump. You might not necessarily have shield.
Exactly. That's usually why the pendulum is like, learn this, because you might not have these things in the rando.
But regardless of what you have in the rando, you can do the pendulum.
Right. So there's an I junction after this room, either one or two rooms after where Patrick's at. And Ty went up and right, saw a few rooms, and now he's in a 4-way. So we've got some options here available in this GP. I hope that we see... Oh, okay, so this is the left side of our I junction that Ty had shown us. So it does kind of loop around here so far. He's got a down and right from here, or he can go back and go left, and then whatever other direction he had.
Looks like he's going to go back left at the moment. Pick up the P bag on the way, maybe? Nope. Not
Run
likely
first
to hit
life?
3170.
Yeah, so Coper got the glove. He's back in 5. He is a little bit further behind Patrick than he was coming out of 6 at this point. Patrick's had a good amount of time in GP here ahead of Coper. Gob in Hammer Cave as well, about to get his glove, so really not too far behind, but he's still got a few palaces to do. Where's his...
Crucially, GobOne went back to that before taking 5 or 4.
Yeah. Which...
So that's going to...
Yeah, it's a bit of a time save there. That's nice.
Now, the one downside is, well, Ty is in Darklink.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it may not be... So definitely a good effort from GobOne, but unless something catastrophic happens on Dark Link, which I don't see happening, especially with the extra life in tow, this will be a Tyvarius victory for the 1-3 matchup that we have tonight. Still a little bit in the air for the 3-1. Patrick with a bit of a lead going into GP, but as we've seen, GP does have some twists and turns in it, so very possible that GP can just trip Patrick up a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't see where Ty went from the 4-way, so I'm unable to tell us if we're going to be going the right way on Patrick's side. But absolutely, there's still plenty of rooms left. We could roll a shortened GP. We're using the short GP flag set today, and that could be up to 48 rooms still. So we didn't see. I don't think we saw 20 rooms in GP. So if it rolls high, there could still be plenty of GP out there for people to get lost in.
And it looks like with the victory from Ty, we do have what looks to be a forfeit from the GobOne.
Yeah, the race is over. I think Gob's going to want to come in and talk about this one. I'm sure Ty is ecstatic, though, seeing as the other two runners there again. We talked about this very early on. I thought I might have commentator cursed him before the race even began, that Ty could have put up a fight against both of these 3-1 runners, and he did tonight. A great showing from Tyvarius.
Absolutely. And really, like you were saying at the beginning, I think just a lot of what's got Tyvarius in the spot he's in was just really tough early week draws.
Yeah, absolutely.
Koper now headed to GP, so still a window for Koper to take this from Patrick.
Absolutely, because I was just going to mention this as well, that I don't think Patrick has seen that junction just yet. I don't think it's back-to-back. It's back-to-back waffles over lava. Okay, so it's back-to-back on these rooms. And obviously it's been trolling Patrick pretty badly here. And Koper, while he still needs to fight Thunderbird, he'll do that. It's only 3 rooms in, and then this is only a few rooms past Thunderbird that Big Picket's in right now. So Big Picket really hasn't seen a whole lot of this place.
And I like the attempt from Koper to go up to the top side, as I believe we're joined by... Who are we joined by?
Ty.
Well, come on in and GT's Tyvarius.
Yo, thanks so much.
Really good run.
Thank
all things considered.
Oh, yeah. And all things considered, a full clear.
What, you don't like your hammer not being required for anything because Glove was just sitting in the hammer cave?
That's all right. That's all right. I at least sussed out the flute pretty early, and I felt all right about that. And I love figuring out fire reflect, so I'm like, well, I never even have to visit the last town, so completely stayed out of there. And I don't know, it was 5 I regret, because other than seeing the item room, which was obviously glove blocked, I think I made every wrong turn.
You weren't alone on that one. I mean, at this point, everyone did essentially the same thing. Gob, obviously a newer runner. We'll see if he gets him in for an interview here. Not sure if he's going to jump in or not. But, I just completely lost my train of that everyone essentially did the same thing. You just did it a little bit faster than everyone else, clearly. And, yeah, I mean, Patrick's been in GP for a little while now, getting a little trolled. He has not seen the loop around to that original junction just yet. He just saw the junction on this last push through. He's been getting a little trolled in those waffles over lava room. jkoper on Thunderbird right now, so he has a chance to steal, all things considered here. But yeah, I mean, everyone is doing the exact same thing of clearing the palaces, maybe in slightly different orders, but everyone did Hammer Cave absolutely last, even though jkoper was into Death Mountain pretty early on, saw the raft under the rock, and obviously useless, given that maze was accessible via the cave. Gob was also in there early on, did not find Hammer Cave. You were the first one to go in there without having done anything in Death Mountain, knowing that you had 2 locations left, and that you needed to find the glove, and you were the first one to do that, and, well, you're the first one to finish tonight.
Dang. Sweet. Feels good.
So,
yeah.
How about the boots in 1?
So as soon as I got that hint, I was like, all right, we can probably dip in there pretty soon. And then, I was testing the spell enemies,
And they were dropping, hundreds on those red Dyras for one hit. I'm like, all right, I'll farm these a little bit. And then they started dropping keys. I'm like, all right, as soon as I get 2, I'm going into 1 to get those boots. Oh no, Koper.
Yeah, he downstepped a little bit too much.
But I assume
It can happen.
Normally I don't even go for in the house hints, but this time it absolutely paid off. Did everyone get that hint, or did everyone just sort of go, I'm going into 1?
I think it was a mix. A couple of people got
Okay.
the hint, and then maybe later on everyone got that hint, but everyone ultimately got the boots pretty early.
Yeah.
There was a kind of weird sync of seed states. About, the 30-ish minute mark, where 2 runners had gotten the magic key and the boots out of 1, and 2 runners had still needed to get their magic keys yet, but it was... 1 runner had gotten the magic key and the boots on each of the 3-1 and 1-3 races, as we have Patrick in the Darkling fight.
Awesome. Well, since Patrick's on that fight, I appreciate the 4-way restream. I'm going to duck out, let y'all interview those 2. I'll be hanging out in chat, though. So thanks again so much, GG's, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Definitely worth watching this one back if you get a chance.
Sounds good.
And with that, Patrick will go ahead and take the victory in the 3-1 matchup. That will put the final record for Patrick at 4-1. Sorry, my apologies. And jkoper will be at 3-2. Remember, folks, this is all for seeding purposes.
Yeah, we'll see how longer Koper wants to dig through here. He did take a death right there. I think he looked over and has seen the race room. I think he's seen Patrick finish, so he has that information. But if he's close, some people want to finish if they're close. But maybe if he game overs, that'll be that, and we'll get them both in at the same time. But I think Patrick's, Patrick can't actually interview, so we're not going to get a chance to interview him because he is Koper into the lava there. Because he is actually switching over some of his setup here, and that's why he's tracking via the piece of paper or whiteboard that he was talking about earlier in the Z2R Discord, because all of his other computers are down, and I think probably his voice setup, mic setup, and everything is down as well. So,
Koper does end up taking the game over, but has elected to keep going. I say, go for it. I am fully on board if any runner wants to say, okay, you know what, even though the race has ended, I just want to finish the seed out anyway. I fully support it.
Yeah, it really depends. From my perspective, it really depends on how close they are. We know Koper's not too far away, but sometimes when people have something like, they're really behind in something like 30 minutes or something, might be time to just call it at that point. We can let Koper finish though, although he knows usually he takes the forfeit, but again, we're in the final palace.
Yeah, and I've also seen, at least on the Z1R side, cases where runners will, knowing that they're so far behind, they'll forfeit out of the race and then go ahead and finish the seed anyway.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, well, you know what? I want the practice. I want the 9 stuff.
Yeah, given all things considered, again, Koper last to the magic key, which would have been our palace, our actual palace entry logic. That item room just not having a door in it, though. What a troll! Today's the one item room that's boss blocked and doesn't have a key door. All of our runners being trolled by that, and I even forgot about that one there on my side. And I'm supposed to be the guy who knows all about these rooms, but all things considered, he closed the gap in 6. But unfortunately, the gap seemingly kind of widened somewhere along the way, and he was a little bit further behind to grab that glove out of Hammer Cave.
Could have just been I wasn't quite watching each of the runners' routes through Death Mountain, but it could very easily be explained by just a slightly more efficient route in Death Mountain for Patrick versus Koper.
Yeah, and another thing, I'm sure Koper, I think I talked about this earlier, that Koper being in Death Mountain already, looking for the rock, and then not opting to find Hammer Cave, he could have made a huge swing in terms of just overall routing of the seed, having the glove and not having to worry about anything else in any palace, could have just moved ahead at that point and done the bosses and had no blocks and not have to duel. any of the other nonsense that seemingly everybody did in that order. So, I mean, there's something, the 4-way races are nice to see. They're hard to commentate, they're hard to track, but it's nice to see 4 different perspectives. However, most of our runners do exactly the same thing. It's kind of the meta to just clear everything else and go DM possibly as late as you can into the game.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always a reason metagames exist, and that is just because the odds of DM having something are generally very low for the amount of time that you have to put into it.
Exactly.
Koper is on the path towards the Dark Link right now.
Yeah, he would actually have to go up and left over there, but he's going to check these rights as well. I don't think anyone went down and right over here. I think both of our runners, Patrick and Ty, went up and right and looped around.
This is a little bit... No, this room doesn't have any enemies. I thought this room had respawning enemies, which anytime you have destructible blocks, lava, and respawning enemies, I'm like, eh.
It's funny. This is the, if I'm not mistaken, this is the vanilla variant of that room down there. We have a flipped version, which does have enemies in it on the crumble bridge itself. So it can be a little tricky depending on if there's birds there or just mews or something.
We all know that the Mew is the best enemy because it's honestly kind of just chill.
It is very chill.
As opposed to Bird Knights, which are just straight up, I'm going to kill you, good luck.
Even the bots in GP having as much health as they do can be kind of a troll. And when they all explode out of the big king bot, that's terrible.
That's a weird room.
Yeah, we call that one the offset 4-way. It's actually designed by Eon. And this is all parts of the palace that we have not seen here yet. So Koper's in a completely different wing as far as I know. I don't think we've seen any of this from any of our other runners.
Right. But, oh, hello, that's a little room. I like it. I like the little rooms like that, because, like, you kill the enemy, and then you're like, okay, this is my hideout now.
Yeah. I like those little rooms, too. The little, I call them pit stop rooms. It's just a little refill, and then you can go.
Looks like we're back in the 4-way, so that loops on itself. The only option left is down here or up and back over towards the other side, which will require a fairy cast. I guess there's a right here, too.
Yeah, it's possible that at some point this does loop into our 4-way elevator that attaches nearby to Darklink.
No drop in this room. That looks like it attaches back to the elevator we saw coming down here to begin with. Also, why not an Agent of the Heifer and Chaos? There's no rule that says those two are mutually exclusive, last I checked.
I am not familiar with any of this.
I am only familiar with the Agent of Chaos. Koper's gonna wait for the firing pattern, and then, hey look, it's a little smirk. Now it's a pirate smirk. Now it's a bored pirate.
The great things, so many community rooms. If you pay super close attention to these rooms, after some time, you start to see that that was a waffle room that was reconfigured into those emoji faces, and nobody changed the enemy set in them. They're the same enemy sets that appear in the waffle rooms, and it just works. Those emojis, as we had seen in the first emoji room when we walked into the palace, had those birds in them. And it really creates this different dynamic in those rooms. Like here's just a regular waffle room, and the birds are caged in, right? They're completely locked into the little pockets there. But in an emoji room, they're out and they're available to just bounce around like crazy. And it really creates a much tougher room. And I just don't know where those rooms exactly came from. I don't know the author of those rooms, but they're great rooms, and they just happen to work out with the exact same enemy set that waffle rooms have.
I am inclined to agree. The one thing that I will note about the emoji rooms is that if you're not prepared for them, they will catch you off guard.
Absolutely.
You gotta be prepared. You gotta be prepared for the waffle room, and then the emoji room, and then the waffle emoji room. I don't know if that exists yet.
Not yet. But we have looped around to that 4-way previous to this point. jkoper's not gone up this way, so if he follows this, he'll loop once again over to the 4-way elevator and then finally take the up and left from there.
But it is interesting that Wing of the Palace did end up looping instead of just looping on itself.
I like that a lot. I dislike it when you find yourself, when you take that gamble on a fork in the road, you take that gamble and it's just one gigantic dead-end loop. There's like 12 rooms over there, 15 rooms, and GP can have so many rooms in it. And you find yourself in this terrible this wing that is just cut off from everything else, and you just feel bad that you make that play because it's so detrimental to your overall time in a race. And I really like it when things just kind of just eventually lead to where all roads kind of combine at some point, and you may be punished for a longer path that you had to take a gamble on, but you're not punished from wasting too much time down a route that has absolutely nothing.
And the other thing, too, is if the loop is big enough, like that 12 to 15 rooms, it might take you even longer to recognize, oh, I'm looping because there's been so many rooms in that loop.
Right.
You might think, oh, I'm just seeing a couple of similar, wait, these are two similar, wait, I've looped. I have looped? No!
My bad.
We're going back down. I think he's realized he's looped again.
Yeah, I thought it was an up and left. I guess it's not an up and left. I guess it's another direction here.
Well, I don't think he's gone up and left from that room, because I think if you go to the right from that top of this elevator, it loops back to here.
Oh no! Yeah, this is it. This is the downstep block into the elevator, and I think Darklink is right after this.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how many lives he has left, and this is a little tricky.
They get a couple of good up stabs.
Wow!
Down stab.
Slides right in between all those beams that are flying across the screen.
And here's the Darklink.
All right, well, 3 out of 4 of our runners finishing. Again, Gob just calling it there. He was a few gems behind. There's his tracker. He still did do 4 and 5 and then go into GP. GP we knew was a little tough, like I had noted very early on. Gob's a newer runner to Z2R and really likes to have shield and life. Was not going to have life today, just the shield spell. But yeah, no fault of his, just newer runner. Little bit of a... I guess he had never seen the glove block, did he? He had the glove before seeing 5, so yeah. Pretty good play on his part, though.
Yeah. If in general that would have been a huge gamble payoff. Just in this case, a little bit late for it to come in. But if he does the same thing in a different situation, it ends up being a huge advantage that he pulls out with it.
Yeah, again, him and jkoper were into Death Mountain early on, and so had he found Hammer Cave, that would have been different for Gob. We're joined by jkoper, though. GG.
Thanks. GG, whoever's around.
I believe it's just you in the booth at the moment, along with us.
Okay.
Although I think Tyvarius and Patrick are both in the chat.
Yeah, so from our perspective, you were the last to get the magic key there, a little after 20 minutes. I think, as you saw on the face cam, that might have not been a happy moment for you, feeling a little behind. And then, of course, you were in the item room, and it doesn't have a door in it. And don't feel bad about that, because nobody checked behind the boss at that point. They all grabbed the jar and left. So,
Wait, really?
oh, wait, was there a door back there?
I don't think there was. Because when I saw it on a couple other folks' side, it didn't look like there was a door there, so everyone just took the jar and was like, okay, there's probably a door here and left.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a boss guarded item room that doesn't have a door, and I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Oh. Alright. Yeah, whatever. Getting the boots out of there would have, been nice consolation, but if no one else did it, then I certainly can't blame that on me. Yeah, certainly had trouble finding the cave with the key at the beginning, and then last location, the glove, of course. So I don't know, stuff happens, I guess.
Yeah, just one of those cases where, I mean, honestly, the only runner that didn't last location the glove was the TheGobOne. He dug it out right before Tyvarius had finished and was about to head to 5 and 4. But really, there was your P6, I believe, was faster than Patrick's, even with looking for the item. I think Patrick had seen pretty much all of it. To me, what seemed to be one of the biggest separators was just the early dig of DM without getting both items out of it. Patrick had waited until effectively he had to go dig TM to go dig DM.
Yeah, I don't think that cost me too much time at all. I don't know. I mean, I got the raft, and then that took me directly to Maze Island, and then I didn't have to like search for the connector cave or anything. Though I had trouble remembering how to get back to Death Mountain later.
Right. And there was, I think, a connector cave somewhere on the east that led to the west side of Maze Island.
Yeah, there was. No, I took it. I found it from Maze Island the first time.
Right.
Yeah, coming back to that 6 though, you were able to close the gap in 6, and it would have been. I didn't realize you hadn't found the item in 6 just yet. You found the dragon first, and so it would have been just over 2 minutes placing the gem difference between you and Patrick at that point. But then you had to go back in and look at the item, found the item, and then up and 8 out of there. So it was about a little over 3 minutes from that point that separated you two, and there seemed to be at some point some additional time bled. Again, watching Forerunners can be a little difficult to give you specifics on exactly when that happened, but at some point, going back into DM, you were a good chunk behind getting that glove. I think Patrick was about to be walking into GP at that point. You were getting the glove, and then you had to go back into 5, get to Guma, and he had a few minute lead on you. But in GP, it started out a little bit of a little difficult there. The birds were right in the first room. There was a firebird in the second room that you had to jump down and get over if you didn't want to ferry. Then 2 back-to-back waffle over lava rooms. After Thunderbird there, that was kind of tripping him up a little bit. He did take, I think he took an up and A, at least one before seeing the very first junction there in GP. And we were wondering if this would have given you enough time to catch up there. But at the end of it all, it wasn't. There wasn't too much behind GP. You took a particular route that actually showed us the rest of GP that no one else had seen. So everyone else went up and right at the first junction, and you went down and right, and that showed us a bunch of stuff. It all did loop around to that final 4-way where you had to go left though. So that was kind of nice that it looped around there, but you did show us essentially the remainder of GP that we had not seen up to that point.
Yeah, I guess loops are less frustrating sometimes than straight dead ends where you have to up and A, because it feels like, well, at least I'm where I need to be rather than having to walk back here. So
Right. Plus you don't have that sense of, oh, now I have to backtrack. It's, oh, I'm still progressing.
Right. Yeah, in a way. Like, I wasted all this time, but at least I rolled everything else out and I know where I am. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I guess I think everyone else, like the other two, it would have been likely for them to, once they've gone up the elevator, to go right instead of going back down. It was so far out. But I don't know. That's also metagaming off of a lost race already. So it's and I probably would have forfeited had Gob not also forfeited. So just the stupid little race time points that don't mean much of anything. I don't want my loss if I don't need it when I'm here in. I think I was in GP when he finished. I'm not sure. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
If not, it was very close, but I think you were.
Oh no, I must have been. I see his finish is 123, and I placed my last gem at 118. So,
Patrick? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. I was not in GP when Tyvarius finished.
Right.
Then.
But I don't even recall if Patrick was or not at that time.
Interesting. Well, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it for Swiss. For me and for the rest of us here tonight. I'm sure you guys might still have something, but we'll do brackets next week, I guess. So.
Yes, you will be seated as a 3-2, and Patrick will be seated as a 4-1, with the other two being seated as 1-4 and 2-3 respectively. Although I might have that backwards.
I think that's right. I think you said 1-4 and 2-3. Yeah.
Yeah, if we're going top to bottom.
Yeah. But yeah, that is essentially the end of Swiss for these runners here tonight. We did have another race that wasn't rebroadcast between Paratroopa and Sigil. They scheduled an hour before these other two runners had their races at 8 o'clock. So that one did not have a chance to get restreamed. There'll probably be a bootleg restream of it at some point in the future. You can check out the Z2R Discord for more information on that. We got plenty of other races coming up this week. I'm sure VX can tell us all about those and whatever else is on the CSR schedule. If he's still around. I think he's fallen asleep.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I think the Chad Burt Big Flame match is the only thing on our schedule tomorrow. I think on Thursday we've got more Wind Waker Randomizer and Majora's Mask Randomizer Season 4 tournament ending its winners bracket finals that evening. So stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you later.